Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G. I apologize for the lighting tonight. The reason why I don't have the camera on me tonight because, I'm over here in my car and waiting on another ride. So apparently I look like I'm sitting in the dark. But if I put on the lights, I'm gonna draw a lot of mosquitoes. So I don't want to do that. So this is the reason why I don't have the camera on me tonight. Um, I'm gonna try to see what I can do here. Let me see here. Let's see will that work. I'm not for sure. Uh, let's see here. Let's see here. All right. Um, let's see if will that work. Yeah, I got a little light, but not so much. All right. Let's see here. Uh, Put a little light on me here. Um, yeah, yeah, man, I'm just gonna draw too many flying insects, man, which are mosquitoes. That's the thing about it. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can really see what's going on though. But trying to do my best here tonight, trying to position the camera. Yeah, yeah, trying to see what I can do here. Hmm. Let's see here. Real dark. Yeah, super dark. I'm trying to not to attract a lot of mosquitoes, but now having a little something, something going on with the lighting tonight. If I turn it on, I'm gonna draw a lot of mosquitoes. That's the only problem, though. I would love. I want to turn this thing on, so therefore you guys will be able to see me and things. But if I roll up all the windows, it's gonna get hot in here and things. So I'm at a dilemma right now. Hopefully, what I have to say is more important than showing my face tonight and things. So, yeah, man. So I roll these windows up, man. It's gonna be really hot in here. Let's see here. Yeah, it's gonna be really hot in here. How is everybody doing? How is everyone doing over here? You see the picture that I got up there. Yeah, so it's not my creation, but I liked it enough. I said, you know what? If Lady Liberty can talk, she would bend right down to Trump and thank him for doing a great job getting America back on track. And I felt the need of wanting to do a live in regards to this. So, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why we're here tonight. I said, wouldn't that be really fitting and fun to put that picture up? Because if it wasn't such thing of her being animated and coming to life, that's exactly what she would do. She would lean down to Trump and say with loving eyes that you're doing a tremendous job. And he says, my damn, you know, I'm not finished yet, basically. You know, he's still got, Trump got a mission there he got to do, but he hasn't completed the mission yet because as long as the deep state is alive and well and kicking, where they have been doing tremendous amount of damage to this country as well as the world, they have enslaved practically almost the whole world, basically. So with Trump and the Patriots and people in other countries that are assisting Trump, working to get, get with the deep state. I know I talked about it earlier today, where we talked about treason, right? I talked about the 18 U.S. Code 2331, right? That's what we talked about earlier today in my live and things. Now I put up a short because the live is still trying to upload because I'm out and about. But if you saw that short, that kind of explains a lot of things, you know. So yeah, so this is what this is about and things. Omega, oh man, Omega. All right, let me see here. Anyhow, I got injured. I got injured the night that I was okay. That when I was last on. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Twisted my waist around TFCC, complete strain. My muscular cartilage was the only thing holding my waist together. But I'm, excuse me, but I'm good. Um, Let me see here. Okay, man, Convo's, what's that? Um, I'm trying to figure out that. We're boy, Omega, you always with the big words, man. You can make it simple to me, man. Make it simple, But I'm happy that you are feeling very, very well and getting better, man. Man, twisted your waist. Oh my gosh, man. I know that have to hurt. hmm Convalescing. Okay, convalescing. All right. Oh, your waist. Yeah, yeah, that waist, man. You don't need that waist. Yeah, the waist, the pelvis. Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear it, Omega. I'm sorry to hear it, man. Dang. Yeah, man. I'm just out here tonight. I said you can go ahead and do a quick live real quick and things. So yeah, talking about if Liberty, as I saw that photo, man, I had to screenshot it, man. I said, let me go ahead on and get that photo. Because I'm gonna have to draw one myself. No, my hand and my forearm, wrist, not waist, wrist. Okay. So, okay, got you. Okay. Yeah, man, these glasses that I have on tonight, I broke my other pair, man. My favorite pair broke, man. So I'm just kind of using these, man. But I'm sorry to hear it, man. No, my hand and my forearm. Yeah, yeah, waist. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, though, Omega, man. Hopefully you'll get well, man. Hopefully you'll get well. Yeah, and drink my water. Yeah, I get these big ones, man. Get those big bottles of water and stuff. Chug, chug. Yeah, man. So, yeah. Yep. So hopefully you're feeling better. Wrist, waist, wrist. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, these glasses, oh man, it's worse without them. Everything all blurry. I used to have 20/20 vision at one time. Thank you for the light too. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some things. Um, I say one thing. I didn't want to make a live about Umar. Everybody made a live about Dr. Umar Johnson, right? For those that don't know, this is a guy that claimed Pan Africanism. Uh, is skeptical about his background, talking about his degrees, because you can never really find out if this guy even have them. I don't think that he has a doctorate degree, to be honest. So because he's everything about this guy is always controversy. He was most famous of starting up a school that never opened, raising money off of the black community, as well as a majority of single family, single mother with children. And he had this vision of opening up a school for little black boys. So the school never been open. It's been over 10 years. And I believe he's in the process of losing the school, if I'm correct. So I didn't want to do a whole thing contributing to Umar because he's not that important in my life to want to deal with something like that. But I just wanted to bring it up. I have been following some of the news. People have gone into great details, like Lenon Honor and a lot of these other guys that's out there, Anton Daniels, Charleston White, and so many of them that talked about this. The guy Tasha K. A lot of them talked about this guy, but like I said, he's not really something of concern. The person that we really should be focusing our efforts on, watching his moves and stuff, how he's been out here from shutting down the border, first and foremost, making sure all these illegals don't come in here, stop the flow of fentanyl that's coming in this country as well, right? Also brought the tariffs, right? Trump had brought tariffs, right? And things where these other countries like Europe, we're talking about the EU, they are finally paying their dues now because they owe us. And it's about time that now that we are collecting the money from the EU, that's another beautiful thing. We collected money from other people around the world as well. If you want to play in the American market, you have to pay the tariffs, and that's basically what it is, paying the tariffs. What else? Well, you put a ban on COVID vaccinations, right? This is another one. Set up all type of executive orders, stopping what we call the woke thing, transgender, the mutilization of the children. Trump stopped all of this that was going on, under his administration. So he earns my respect for a lot of things that he said he was going to do. Talking about Donald J. Trump, and then he's doing it. That's why I put that little cartoon picture up there because once again, if Lady Liberty can really talk, she'll be leaning down to Trump and saying, "Thank you for all the work that you've been doing," basically restoring America back. And he said he's not finished; he's just getting started. He's not, Madame. You know, I'm not finished yet, Madame. And that's what Trump replied back to Lady Liberty. So I thought it was really cool to put that photo up as a thumbnail and things because I find that thumbnail has a lot to do with what's going on in America now, that we are course correcting. And the people that celebrate the deep state because they have a lot of money, finances, and other type of things to try to derail Trump. They do not want Trump to be successful because Trump is doing it for who? The American people. We've been in bondage. We've been out here under tremendous amounts of lies, deceit, and financial ruin in this country ever since these deep state operatives, demo KKK rats, as Omega put it poetically, well, this is what we're fighting against. More and more people now are seeing the light. No matter if you're a Democrat, liberal, a moderate, or a Republican, you have to understand what is going on in America. And with Trump leading the charge, sending in the military, sending in the National Guards, cleaning up DC. I already talked about that live before, And he's going to be going to Chicago, I do believe, next. He mentioned it. So he's going to be going to these sanctuary cities. Trump have to sign already an executive order, Ben did that, getting rid of the sanctuary cities. They approved it, right? So we're not having these sanctuary cities. We're not going to have illegal immigrants being protected, right? Taking our resources and things when it come down to not just welfare, but WIC and all this other stuff, SNAP programs. All that at one time was going to the illegals. The Democrats have counted the illegals as being Americans. And this is why this is a form of treason as well. And I already went into, you do the Google search, just type in 18, right? US code 2381. If you put that in there, it's going to give you the meaning of what the breakdown of what treason is. And that's what they have done is that the deep state have collaborated because a lot of them did this on American soil, right? Where they collaborated with the enemy people that don't have the America's best interests at heart, right? And they did this and things, and we have there's evidence that they have had that they actually have in the intelligence community that they have done this. They have sold us out, ladies and gentlemen. They have conspired, right? Levy wars against us and so forth, all for financial gain and power. Want to enslave the American citizen, take the Constitution away, want to undevelop America, turn America into a third world country. And with us as Americans, we said enough. And this is why we all voted for him. There's all walks of life that voted for Trump because if you look at on the Dem side, they don't have any accomplishment. They got accomplishments of selling this country out. They got accomplishments of enriching themselves. They got accomplishments of releasing the COVID vaccine, COVID-19 virus onto the people. They got accomplishments, ladies and gentlemen, of what we called sniper and then terrorist attacks in America. Can we say 9/11? Can we say the other one over there before 9/11 was that 1998? What's his name? Timothy McVeigh and all that stuff. Can we say all that? All this stuff was in-house, ingrown, right? This came right in our own backyard, and many more. So therefore, this is why I put that photo up there for the thumbnail because, like I said before, I thought it was very, very cool. Um, with Lady Liberty bending down to Trump and thanking Trump for all the hard work he has been doing, course correcting and getting us back on track. And that's basically what I was just talking about tonight. So there it is, though. And many more things are to come. By getting rid of the Federal Reserve Bank, the IRS, is going to be on the way. Once they have been eradicated out of here, then the ERS is going to be put into place. And when Trump get the ERS, meaning the external revenue service, right? This is the one where the tariffs of other nations are fueling the taxes, not the American people. So once again, that's exactly what it is. The external revenue service, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the one that's going to replace the internal revenue service. The internal meaning coming within the United States, talking about the American people. We have been squoze on taxes. This is against the Constitution. They just wrote that crap in on the 16th Amendment. But I do believe that once Trump has eradicated the Federal Reserve Bank, he's going to nullify and redo the 16th Amendment because every person from your children and your children and your children's children should know about how the Federal Reserve Bank, how they came into prominence. Before 1913 was like 1910, and 3 years later it got passed. It got pushed into Congress in the in the holiday hours around December when everybody else was enjoying and out with their family. There's a book called The Creatures of Jekyll Island. When you get a chance, you can read that book, and it'll tell you a lot more in detail what they have actually done. So that was the precursor that have caused America decline. And once we were before that, our money was controlled by the Treasury. The dollar that was printed and minted, it came from America. We had gold in Fort Knox. You know what I'm saying? The dollar back then was very, very strong. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it, the Titanic, there was what's that? John Astor, I believe it was one of them that was on that Titanic before it sank, though. So there's a lot of controversy and conspiracy why that boat sank. Because if they would have touched on shores of America, they were going to, let's say, rival the Rockefellers and so forth and others. So, yeah, talking about it. Let me see what Omega has to say, and then we'll go from there. Omega says the Democrat procedure failed at policy getting promoted. Even with failure, they always fail upwards. Obama, Bill Clinton were both failure lawyers. That is correct. Um, you need to, let me see, my glasses is jacked up. Let me get a little closer. You need a convention of states, and you need at least 33 states in agreement for the convention. That is in order to amend the 16th Amendment. I think it's more likely to happen. I'm going to tell you why, because the thing about it is the Federal Reserve Bank is going to have to be eradicated totally, right? Because it's unconstitutional to pay taxes. See, it's not constitutional to pay taxes. It's unconstitutional to pay taxes because the founding fathers, when they set up this country, it was always set up for not to pay taxes amongst American citizens. Was we already know why? Because we already had tariffs coming in from other nations. This is how they did it in the past. So we didn't have to have taxes. The taxes came around much later, but here, for instance, how you gonna own a house? Because this is the thing about it. You never own a house because you got to pay taxes on it. And most of you are homeowners. But guess what? You got to pay taxes on it. So that's not freedom. When you own a house, you're supposed to own the land and everything and not pay taxes. Do you absolutely think that taxes go towards the roads, buildings, infrastructures, and so forth? It really doesn't. It's going and lining themselves right in the politicians' pockets. And this is why we already see the devaluation of the dollar, inflation is going up. And then let's say the exporting of jobs, which we call outsourcing, all this happened in after 71 and when 1980. And then when NAFTA came around much later under Bill Clinton, look, we've been spiraling out of course. The American people's wealth has been taken from them with greedy, rich, deep state politicians. This is one of the main reasons as to why we can't seem to get any type of footing. You got to work two jobs and some just to be able to make ends meet. You look at how much stuff is expensive now, you know? It's because of the inflation as well as the devaluation of the dollar. Nobody talks about Fort Knox no more. Fort Knox is a thing. It's a wonder if the gold is even in the Fort Knox anymore. You know, and we know why because they have stole the gold. If they have, let's say, stealing taxpayers' money to enrich themselves, what do you think they did with the gold? It ain't like the gold is in Fort Knox. Oh yeah, they enriched themselves. Yeah, if they're gonna enrich themselves stealing taxes, they're gonna enrich themselves stealing gold. They've been suppressing gold too. That's another thing. Gold is not necessarily where it is right now. Gold is way overpriced, but you got the deep state that's been suppressing it. And we're gonna find out what gold is really worth once Trump and the Patriots get rid of the central bank, which is the Federal Reserve. That's the target right now. It must go because two entities can't occupy the same time and space. One has to go, one has to submit. And we want the Federal Reserve to submit and go. Once we get Jerome Too Late Powell out of there, you know what I'm saying? Because he's being investigated for criminal activity, though, He's just a puppet that works for on the behalf of the deep state. Everybody knows it. So what is he doing that's supposed to be so special? You know? These are a bunch of morons that works for the deep state. They're not running nothing. They're being told what to do. Nobody knows what's going on in that building. You can't go in there. This is how, and again, the Federal Reserve is a private bank. It doesn't adhere to no president, no government. They print money and they've been in here. This is what they set up. This is why we are catching it right now. This is why we in the situation right now. This is real talk right now because they don't teach us about the Federal Reserve Bank. Never ever. I talked about this before. I said, you know what? It's about time to come back around here and talk about it again. The Federal Reserve Bank is the one that controls your politicians. The Federal Reserve Bank controls your presidents before Trump. The Federal Reserve Bank pushed us into war. Federal Reserve Bank have stole the money, the value of wealth out this country. They are the ones that have been doing it. And more people now are aware that the Federal Reserve Bank is the enemy of America. It always have been. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve Bank. Name only, but they don't do shit, jack shit for the people. There's nothing patriotic about them. This is why, if you notice, I mean, Trump has been doing a great job by bringing bringing the energy costs down. He got a man in office that's been we're doing a great job on that, you know. But Jerome Powell is not going to cut the rates because he's a deep state operative, and he's not going to do it. If he do that, then they know that Trump wins and America wins. This is one of the main reasons, regards to your mortgage, you're trying to do some home improvement and all this stuff. You can get a great rate once he cuts the rates because ultimately that existing Federal Reserve is not going to be here long. There's 12 of them across the United States. They don't just print money for America, but they print money for other countries as well. They do not adhere to no government. They do not adhere to no president or anything. Trump can write all the executive orders that he wants, but guess what? The Federal Reserve don't adhere to no president, and they've been existing since 1913. You can go and pull it up for yourself. I talk about this to try to educate people that may not be aware of what a central bank is. At one time, if you were to go back in history, we were well aware, our ancestors was well aware of what a central bank is. Right now, the dumbing down of the masses of people, they still do not know what a central bank is. This is why they fled England because England itself was a central bank. The what's the bank over there to international settlements? The central but the one over in England is one of the oldest banks out there in the world. It's the bank in England, you know. So that one right there, the main one, right? And this is why when they fled to America, right, and established and went to war against Britain and their things like that. They wanted to be free because they knew taxation and what that really meant. You can't call yourself free when you got to pay taxes. 40 years, the 40-40 rule, remember? You work 40 years of your life, 40 years is being taxed. You're being taxed 40 years of your life, 40 years being taxed. I don't know about you, but that's not freedom. That's slavery. They taking money from us, ladies and gentlemen, that they haven't even worked for. They haven't done nothing to earn this money. Why fight a man that says that we can have it all? Is that a tyrant? If Trump is a tyrant, if because he wants to make sure that Americans have all of the money, not 40% of our earnings for 40 years of hard work to these bastards. So if that's tyranny, then I don't know what is. If you think, because again, he Trump is the one fighting against this, right? He wants it for the average American to know what it's like to go to work and work OT without paying taxes. And this is forever, not a temporary thing. This is the greatest election ever. And I'm glad that people smartened up and voted for Trump. This is a fight not only for his life, for our life and our sovereignty, because we already know what is at stake. We can't go back into the darkness, you know? We're coming out of it, coming out of a recession, right? Biden is the one that put us in the recession, right? He was the one, we already know what Biden did. Biden brought in a lot of illegals in this country as well. What else did he did? He effed up the economy because he's also works on the behalf of the enemy. We already know that. And he ain't the only one. He was a perfect Manchurian candidate. Whether he was innocent or not, he wasn't cognizant of his surroundings. He wasn't mentally there. Everybody knew it. You know what I'm saying? So he was a perfect Manchurian candidate, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? All the damage that Biden did in the 4 years that he was in office, and then people want to rock with that. I think not. The majority of the people in this country knew what it was to be suffering. We were doing better in the first 4 years when Trump was in, back in 2016. There was a lot of money out here. Inflation was down and everything, man. It was a beautiful thing. It was way better than Biden's economy. Everybody know it. And Trump is going to make it even better than 2016. But the Federal Reserve got to get the fuck out the way. Plain and simple. We get their ass together and get their ass out, where the Treasury, right, the U.S. Treasury, they can go back and start printing and minting money again with gold and silver and other precious metals in circulation instead of just printing money, printing money. Do you realize that every time the government runs out of money, they have to ask or get a loan from the Federal Reserve plus interest, right? No wonder we at $37 trillion of debt, right? Because of these fuckers, right? They've been allowed to operate in our country. It's like a loan shark, you know? You can't be okay with working 40 years and paying 40% of income of taxes in general. It's called the 40-40 rule. And that's what we've been on. You don't get rich like that, right? You can't generate wealth like that when you're paying 40% out. This is why people strive to become rich when they learn tax laws and all this other stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible, but the few people that been able to generate that kind of wealth is far few in between. The majority of people are just working slaves because they have to pay taxes. You don't get rich, you can't get ahead of paying taxes. Every time you want to work 40 hours or OT, guess what? 16 hours OT. After that, it ain't even worth it. It goes straight to the government. Taxes on my department, right? Or a wait staff, right? Look at what they have to pay. When their tips are taxed. Every time we get a tip, they put it on note. That's why the 1040 is nothing more than it's more than just telling the government your business. That's all it really is. That's what a 1040 really is, or a 1099. Telling the government your business. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. So I'm giving you reasons as to why Trump is very, very important and you know what I'm saying, it's significant in regards to what he's doing. Because you ain't got nobody else out there that can deliver. They all on the take. They all work on it for the deep state, whether you believe it or not. And you should be rocking with this information. Share the video, share the live with other people. Because if I'm lying, I'm flying. One thing about it, I may not be the smartest intellectual, and I'm just a random guy, man. I'm not no one of these I didn't go to no, obviously, I didn't go to any type of Harvard or Yale or any of these Ivy League colleges. I didn't do that. I'm just a messenger spreading information, but I do read a lot, you know what I'm saying? I love history and I know what's going on in America. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it. You know, this is what's really going on, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's going on. Most of the people in this country have been red pilled now. They are aware that there's some type of totalitarian system or tyrannical government that is in the shadows, always have been, pulling all the strings, right? Putting us into wars, coming up with other type of chemical and biological warfare. One could say COVID and a lot of other stuff, right? This is what's been pushed to get us to submit and give up more of our rights, right? This is what they did. This happened under the Joe Biden administration, right? With Obama, to give up our rights. And also the neocons when it come down to the Bushes and all the rest of them, right? To give up our rights and stuff. 9/11, right? False flag operation, give up our rights. What did one of them was stupid enough to say, oh yeah, in order to be secure, you're gonna have to be willing to give up some of your freedoms to be secure. And this was being taught against that. Anyone talking that kind of nonsense is a tyrant. You don't give up your rights for security. You don't do that type of stuff. And that's why I say this stuff should be echoed in the halls for the youth. Many of you have children, and your children's children should learn about the Federal Reserve Bank, how it's a totalitarian system that enslaves people, right? This is the stuff I do believe once we take over the country and put it back to where it's supposed to be, it will be in the curriculum for the children to learn and know. Every U.S. citizen should know about the Federal Reserve Bank. There should be no reason for you to be blind, deaf, and dumb not to know about the inner workings of the central bank, because this is what's enslaving us. I'm pointing to you what it is, right? There's nobody hiding them. They're all exposed. There's no secret government no more. They're all exposed. And some of them that's out on the front right now are being investigated, soon to be indicted, right? Because when we come out, Russia hoax and all this other stuff, that was created and designed to make sure that Trump didn't take the seat as the president. They were the same group of people, including Obama, that said Trump would never be president. They even laughed at him. They were joking about it. They didn't even take him serious until he won. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing about it. They thought this man was a joke, but people got behind him. People were feeling him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Coming out of this totalitarian system, don't you want to be free? Do you want to pay taxes or not? That's the question. It don't matter if you're on the left or the right. I don't think anybody like to pay taxes. You want to be the 44 rule, 40-40 rule again, working 40 years of your life, paying 40% of taxes. Because that is exactly what the average American is doing. You can't get rich like that. It's a permanent debt enslavement system. Debt is slavery. Debt in any other form is still debt and slavery. People go and finance a mortgage on their homes, right? 30-year mortgage, interest rates. This is criminal, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm trying to get people to see. You don't own a house when you got to pay taxes for the rest of your life. You can pay off the house. The land is what the government have already set up, which is the central bank. It's not even the government. Central bank is not the government because they don't work on the behalf of the people, right? Had we would have known that our ancestors would have known that they snuck that in, and this is how wicked they are. They sneak stuff in, and then we are suffering from it now because they didn't know, they were dumb and stupid. And even with Woodrow Wilson, one of the worst presidents we have ever had, he's one of them. I got my list of them. He is one of the worst, and FDR is right behind him. You know what I'm saying? And I can go down a list with other presidents I didn't like. I didn't care for them. You know what I'm saying? But there are the two right on my dirty dozen list, and I got more. We got to educate ourselves about this. These guys ain't no great men. They were sellouts, and it worked on behalf of the deep state, and I'm calling them out. They ain't the only two. We go right down the list with the rest of them. From that time period, from 1913, and walk it all the way up. And I said one of these days I was going to do a live where we're going to walk it all the way up to 2020, walk it all the way up to 2000, what's it, 24. Because you had Biden in there, minus Trump, Oh, he's establishment. Well, all the moves that he's been doing, You got elite politicians, generations that have been running and working us, ladies and gentlemen. They have been working us, man. You know, we ain't benefiting from it. Every politician you voted for, charismatic, smooth as glass, like Obama, like Slick Willie Clinton. They were smooth, and many of them, right? Charismatic. But what have they really done for the American people? Nothing. They are the ones that are rah-rahing for the deep state operatives, right? That's what they do. They rah-rah for that. That's why we in a hellish situation right now that we're trying to get out of, you know, coming out of the darkness into the light. you know? And that's the thing though too. It's like stuff like this should be very, very popular, but once again, people are not gravitated. They gravitated on a bunch of foolishness on YouTube where you don't learn nothing. It's just like ha 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 he or some type of stuff all the damn time. They know they have done their job with the most of the people. People should be rocking on this message right now, sharing it with them and learning something. So therefore, they could be able to not be under a totalitarian system. Because I'm afraid that this is going to happen again. Once we come out of that, we're going to go right back into the void of darkness again. Because, like I said, the way that they avoid that, you have to start educating your children young. You really do. You got to start educating them young because it's a shame. I guarantee that none of your kids know about the Federal Reserve Bank. They don't know nothing about a central bank. I can guarantee that because their parents don't know about it. Kids don't know about shit when their parents are. How your parents gonna know about stuff and your children don't? It starts with you. Y'all the first teachers before they go to school. They not gonna learn this stuff in school. You know, they ain't gonna learn this type of stuff, and that's our problem. That's our problem because you're supposed to know what treason means. You know, anytime. As a matter of fact, I was gonna read it to you because I did that earlier in my life. But you know what? You can look at my short. Pull that up and read that, and it lets you know what treason really means when you've been conspiring with the enemy, aiding the enemy, right? In this country. That's what they've been doing, right? Even with the illegal open borders and all this shit. That's all line of treason what they've been doing. Treason to this country, right? Selling arms and selling other stuff to other nations to attack us and all this other shit. It's treason. And people should know of what treason is. All you got to do is Google 18 US Code 2381. Pull it up and you can Google it yourself and you can read. It's not a long read, just a few paragraphs. That way you can be able to read and understand what treason really means. And then you can start connecting the dots. Why are these people are coming under investigation now? From Spygate, right? A Russia hoax. Why are these people coming up? And it ain't stopping there. There's other things too. Why are they being under investigation, soon to be indicted? This is going to be the biggest bust in the century, right? When people really start to see oh, Obama, no, he's going down. He's going down. You already had the president of the United States, right? The commander in chief that did a generated AI of Obama. He was on X being arrested. They came in there, Secret Service came in there and they arrested him, brought him down to his knees. If the president's saying that's going to happen, that means it's going to happen. And right now, he ain't been wrong yet. That's why he say he's right about everything because he knows the job is to get the American people to understand what's going on. Because if you think in the New York Minute that Obama loved America and cared about America, I got something to sell you, though. I'm wanting to sell you some bridge or a road claiming it's mine. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know, him, Hillary, and all the rest of them, man, all down the list. We're seeing it right now. Topsy ain't going up in there just for her health. She's giving documented factual evidence in regards to what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he has been wrong. What I'm gonna say, Martin, you so misunderstood. It's unreal. This is where the media has fooled you. And you sound like a liberal too, man. Um, you know what I'm saying? You ain't, and that's the thing about it. You must enjoy paying taxes. You think taxes are okay, don't you? And you know what? I notice with most liberals, they are ignorant to the Constitution. They don't even believe in the Second Amendment rights. You know what I'm saying? I've been around liberals all my life. I live in a liberal town. And one thing that comes true, they do not like the Constitution because they don't understand it. Because liberals make their own rules up. They convince other liberals that it's patriotic to pay taxes. You got evidence saying that the taxes have been stolen from the American people. But this is the type of stuff that comes out of liberals' mouths. That's why I don't take them serious. Nothing to be upset about because they are immature mentally to even deal with them. I'm only dealing with people that is willing to have an open mind, you know, to get out of the matrix and want something better in this country. But he rah-rahing for it. You might as well say their program where they will fight and protect the status quo, which is the deep state. Not, that's what they're protecting. They're protecting a system that they never benefited from it. Right now, Martin, you a working slave yourself. I already know you ain't got it. I don't have to know that you have it. You are defending what we call evil. And you ain't by yourself. There's many others that defend evil. You ain't by yourself, you know what I'm saying? But for you to sit up in here and the rah-rah, oh yeah, he lied about everything. Oh, Donald Trump, he ain't nothing. And you ain't, but you don't know any of his policies. I challenge you right now, right? I challenge you, Martin. Tell me a policy of Trump, and I'll tell you a policy with Biden, right? One works for the people, one works against the people. But see, that's the thing about it. This is child's play to me. It's too easy. Because liberals most of them are not patriotic. They don't like to stand for the Constitution, and they don't really protect freedom of speech. They hate it. And more, you know what liberals hate the worst? It's the Second Amendment. If they were able to do away with the Constitution, any of them, it would be the Second Amendment. 27 amendments, they would get rid of the Second Amendment because they have set laws up to make it very difficult to protect yourself, to put a person down that fucks with you or trying to rob or kill you. In a Republican state, which is a conservative, that adheres to the Constitution, it's different because if a person come up on you, you can mow them down, no problem. You can mow them down. They're trying to rob from you, come in your home. You got all these stipulations. This is just crap, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we welcome the trolls. Trolls come in, but I'm not upset with them because I understand where they're coming from. They don't have any type of nothing solid to stand on. It's propaganda by the news, the so-called fake news. And that's what they've been watching all their life, right? Fake news. We're talking about people, probably Generation X. I probably would put him. He may be. It's kind of hard to say what Martin really is, you know. But like I said, I ran across them as Generation Xers, Millennials, and Zennials. And Zennials, they don't watch the news. Generation X do. They believe in the fake news. That's their modem of operate motorandum. They believe in the fake news. This is how they get down. So I just want to let y'all know once again to empower yourselves and don't let no one tell you anything. I'm just a messenger, man. But I'm just saying research it for yourself. If you don't do anything, just pull up 18 US code, uh 2381. Pull that up. You gotta know it's your duty as an American to know that your country was being taken over and people that are treason. It's a whole group of them, and they all are being indicted. That's why I say John Bolton days are number two. You don't do no raids on people's homes for nothing unless if they have something on them. You know, But once again, you got the Democrats, and he's actually a rhino Republican, neocon conservative. I wasn't no fan of the neocon conservatives when the Bush. I didn't like senior or junior because those were neocon conservatives, right? They had every opportunity under the Republican Party to make change. They failed so as well. This is why I have respect for people like Omega because they said, well, I'm more of a moderate or libertarian. They didn't rock with the neocons either. I didn't rock with them. You know what I'm saying? War hungry ass neocons. I didn't fuck with them like that. I was never no Bush fan ever. I didn't rock with them dudes. I didn't rock with them. Omega says technically wrong. They did raid Trump on false pretenses. Oh yeah, I know they did. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying what we talking about? The neocons or who we talking about here? Omega. We're talking about Miss Henry Reed for first. Raid Trump on false pretenses. You can raid anyone. Yeah, that's right. They raid Trump on false pretenses. They sure did. And we know the demo KKK rats, as Megan said, they were the ones that did it. If Bush and them would have still been around, they would have done it on his watch, as well as with the Democrats. But Democrats did this. They raided Trump. They didn't find nothing. He was at right to have because he was a sitting president, ex-president at that time, you know? But you mean to tell me that somebody that wasn't sworn in didn't pass through an election and he can have secret documents? I'm talking about John Bolton. No way. Bolton, we just need to see what happens. I understand that. I personally consider Bolton a rat, but let's see. Yeah, exactly. We want the course of the legal system is what they're going to do, because under the Trump administration, that's what it's all about. It's all about the Constitution, right? Adhering to the Constitution, because we want people to know, yeah, they raided the house because they have gotten the proper through the judge and all the rest of this stuff, because they have evidence and not just not under some type of reasonable doubt that they had something on this guy in order for them to do it. But they're gonna bring him to the light, though. We're gonna see. We're going to see. But I'm confident enough that he's going down too. These people are going down, though. This is a big show that's being revealed to the American people. And there's segments of it, though, too. Yeah, John Bolton is involved. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is exactly what it is. Because when they raided Mar-a-Lago, that was totally illegal. They Jimmy a piece here. All right, here we go. All right, should be connected. All right, there I go. All right, I'm connected now. Yeah, these mosquitoes are tearing me up, y'all. Hold on for a minute. Boy, these mosquitoes are tearing me up. All right. Hold on for one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys, yeah, the mosquitoes are tearing me up. I just want to give myself a little bit of a break before I turn these lights back on. I know it look kind of tripped out, but yeah. Um, instead of just having me sitting in the dark, but I'm so used to this, waiting on another ride and stuff, man. But You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't even cooking, man. I consider this more educational. This is more of an educational thing for people that may not know, you know? Because like I said, I don't mind the trolls. Trolls can't hurt you though, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna do what they're gonna do because a lot of them are brainwashed. They're gonna fight for a system that they know all their life. They've been lied to all their life, right? For some of them that come in here, it is what it is, you know. So that's not going to be something that's going to be overcome immediately. Some people wake up from the matrix sooner than others. You got people that's still in there, and some of them may not ever want to come out of the matrix. You know, whatever the reason is, they have to come out of there on their own. We can only show them the door, but if they're not willing to walk through it, you know what I'm saying? So, like all blades of grass don't grow at the same level. I don't hate them for their lack of knowledge. I just know that they don't know. But one day they'll come around like many others have come around, even in the black community. I'm really, really impressed, Omega, now that they are waking up from the Democratic, they're leaving the Democratic Party in droves now, especially after they're seeing, like you see Chicago, you see DC. They love how Trump sent in their military in there to basically do, to bring order back, bring the safety back, and so forth, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing where they can come back out there on their porch or walk down the street and not have to worry about being robbed or being mugged or being raped. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to worry about that being deleted on the streets. They don't have to worry about that anymore. And as Trump said, he's going to go out to the other places as well. A lot of these YNs and the ONs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, their days are numbered. Because I do believe he's going to Chicago next, just to show Pritzker and Brandon Johnson that they don't have the juice. He's backed by the Constitution, one in the highest court in the land, and what he's doing is constitutional. That's what many people don't understand. Because again, a lot of liberals don't understand the Constitution anyway. They just act like this man is just making it up because they hear it off of CNN or MSDCN and all the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? They they believe fake news for real news, and real news for fake news. Ain't that funny? So yeah, so that's the thing about it, though. Just bringing it as I see it, as many of us see it. Because like I said before, Lady Liberty, if she was really a thing, she would, like I said before, she would bend down and thank Trump for trying to bring back, or so far he's been doing a great job of putting us back in order, back to the Constitution, back when we had smaller government, right? And bringing us out of a recession and closing down the border, stopping fentanyl. May I continue on with all his accomplishments and executive orders that he's been doing? Because he's been doing a hell of a job. He's been doing it better than any president in our lifetime. This is history being made. And I debate anybody, name the president, they can't hold a candle to Trump. Cannot. Omega said, finally enough, I heard a liberal state that those who would trade their liberty for safety will end up with neither. I heard that before. As it pertains to Trump's action, um, okay, I'm gonna say actions, hard I roll at their hypocrisy. Exactly, Omega. Exactly. Exactly. This is exactly what it is. And I know somebody famous said this though too. I can't think of who it is right now. They neither was it Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson. One of them said that famous speech because I heard it before. You know, they neither they don't deserve either, or something like that. They said so. Yeah, yeah, Benjamin Franklin. I knew it was one of them. I knew it was one of them. Yeah, exactly, Omega. Yeah, that's why if we don't learn from the past, we're doomed to repeat it. Doomed to repeat it. The way that Trump has gotten us together now, Omega man. I went to Cracker Barrel today. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I went to Cracker Barrel last week. They had the rainbow chairs out there. They even changed the logo, and we already heard what they've been doing with Cracker Barrel. So Cracker Barrel decided to go woke, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, Cracker Barrel decided to go woke. They started saying how they wanted to reach a more of a different audience, which is bullshit because, you know, the LGBTQ community all know about Cracker Barrel. Just because they ain't walking up here with no rainbow flag don't mean that they don't know about Cracker Barrel. Who don't know about Cracker Barrel? But they want to say, oh, we need to target more of, since we got our main clientele, it's time for us to start targeting the LGBTQ community, the rainbow people, right? And it's sure enough, they did it. They had the rainbow rocking chairs out there, started putting up some of this rainbow flags and stuff. You know what ended up happening, right? The majority of the people that are conservative, it offended them. And they didn't want to go to Cracker Barrel no more. They said, we're going to show Cracker Barrel. I noticed their stock started going down, going down, going down. The CEO of Cracker Barrel, because I heard when they made that speech, Omega. And let's just say I went there today. I went to Cracker Barrel earlier today. And let's just say I did not see any more rainbow flags, no rocking chair, rainbow rocking chairs, or none of that stuff. And I ain't see nothing wrong with the logo before. They used to have a white man on the Cracker Barrel logo. They took him off and just said Cracker Barrel. What's all this stuff about? Blacks ain't never had no problem going up in Cracker Barrel seeing a white man on their logo. Black folks ain't never been offended by that. You know what I'm saying? There was no paraphernalia that Cracker Barrel had. It wasn't like they had no damn whips and stuff, colors only. They didn't have that kind of paraphernalia up in there. So why do you have to F with the logo? Everybody was comfortable having that white man on the logo. KFC got Colonel Sanders on there. They didn't take his face off the bucket of chicken. He's synonymous to the chicken. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make any sense though, you know. You go woke, you go broke. And I hope the corporate is listening, you know, which they probably aren't. But anytime your ass go woke, you're gonna go broke. It's just how it is though, too, you know, with this crap. Nobody cares about this stuff like that. Omega says, and I am black. I want my Uncle Cracker on the logo. LOL. I know that's right. They erase yeah, I know, all right, Aunt Jemima, right? And Uncle Ben, they sure did. They erased this out of history. And we know what these low down ass DMs in power were trying to do anyway. They were synonymous to the brand. We didn't have no problem with. I used to buy Uncle Ben's rice. Are you kidding me? It was Uncle Ben's rice, Aunt Jemima, you know, Mrs. Buttersworth. Both of them were black women. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no problem with that. Uncle Cracker, whatever, you know, white man on there. We didn't have no problem with that with Cracker Barrel. I say put the white man back up there on that logo. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't, when it wasn't like nobody, I ain't never seen nobody black protest Omega about that. It make no sense. Even you brought that up. I knew you were gonna bring that up. I knew you were going to bring that up. We didn't have no problems with the white man on Cracker Barrel. We did not. But yeah, man, it's like the logo just looks different, man. It looks so plain. And I mean, who are they trying to fool and appeal to? You know? I mean, why are they only 4% LGBTQ community? You mean to tell me that you only what? You're when the majority of people in this country are conservative. They could care less about the LGBTQ community. I'm not some type of damn xenophobe or whatever or a homophobe. I'm not any of that type of stuff. But they are the small minority group, 4%. We don't have to cater to them like that. It's just like with the illegals that come over here. They should be assimilating into society, not the other way around. Why do we have to assimilate into 4% of the LGBTQ community? Makes no sense. I'm never going to assimilate into that. They're going to be like everybody else. Everybody else. Merit only. We don't care about your sexual innuendos your sexual orientations. We don't care about your sexual orientations at all because that shouldn't be a factor. That's like me running around here. I like doggy style or doggy style group of people. We don't care about that stuff because it doesn't even make any sense. Why should my sexual position or orientation matter to the masses of people when you're only a 4% as a whole group? It don't make no sense. Omega saying trying to appeal to the lesbian, transgender, black trans, what's that, transracial, wheelchair bound, right, pink hair, uh, communist. Yeah, the pink hair, exactly, though, Omega. We don't have to adhere and bow down and kowtow and all this other stuff. We don't have to do this type of stuff. You're only 4%. You don't have a big community of people. You really don't. So you have to adhere to what the masses want. The majority of people in this country are conservative. They always have been, and that's what they're going to adhere to. Omega. They're going to bow down they're going to bow down to that. The majority people do not want that in the schools. We don't want transgender. We don't want to see that. I don't want to see transgender sports, transgender bathrooms. I don't want to see any of that stuff. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to see any of that. You go home in your own community and play dress up. But don't bring it out here because you're gonna be classified as a man because you are a man, a biological man. We won, they lost. All that transgender stuff, you have lost. And we're gonna make sure that shit don't ever come back. I don't want to see it. I'm not gonna call you these binary names. You are a man. That's what God made you. And that's what you're going to continue to be. It ain't up to you to talk about how you feel. You know, it's just silly and stupid and crazy talk. You need to be admitted. That's why we got to bring back the mental illness hospitals. These men walking around here thinking that they are a woman. I think not. And you ladies too. Because I don't see too many women talking about they want to be a man. You know how hard it is being a man in society? You better stay in your gender role. This ain't what you want. Because you smart off to a man thinking that you're a man, you get knocked out like a man. Being honest. See, as men, we give men a certain degree of respect. But you think I'm just gonna randomly get up in a man's face and start talking shit? That's going to result into a fight real quick. It's just that the women been allowed to do this foolishness. I mean, they can get away with it though, but as a man, you can't get away with this stuff for real. You don't want this. Ain't what you want. Stay in your gender. Stay in your gender role. This ain't what you want. You don't want to be in that. You don't want to go down that path. You know, men are a lot stronger, especially when we get angry. You don't want to. You don't. This ain't what you want. You don't want that smoke. Stay in your gender role and be happy with that. That's what you do. But other than that, though, man, yeah, Omega. Well, we are winning. Omega says, make asylum great again. I know, right? Also, did you hear about the feminist who tried being a man? She committed. She committed um, suicide. Yeah, I heard about that, Omega. Yeah, she committed suicide. And that's what people don't really understand. Women that try being a man, they more higher of suicide than men being women. Yeah, that's what it is because they start taking they start messing with their body, taking these puberty blockers and all the rest of this stuff. They take all this stuff. It's not a pretty sight. It drops their voice. It makes their voice a lot deeper. And when they decide that they don't, because really, like I tell women, it ain't easy being a man. Where society don't cater to you no more because when you a man, it's a whole different set of rules. And you got some guys that made mistaking you as a man. I didn't know what she looked like, Omega, but I seen some of them that been taking some of those puberty blockers and stuff, where they started getting the belly, the hair started falling out. They looked like a middle aged man. It's very dangerous for them too. Hmm. Yeah, very dangerous for them. I think the suicide rate for women that become try to be a man and try to transgender over, yeah, they suicide rate. What is it, Omega? By 40 something percent, I do believe, which is pretty high on the women's end. You don't really see that many suicides with men that want to be women, because we already know, but if they can get away with it, fake it, they say, well, shit, it's easier being a woman than it is a man. For a woman being a man, it's a lot harder. It's not easy being a man, let me tell you, because you have to be 100% accountable and responsible all the time. You are a piece of shit when you fall off that responsibility. As a woman, you're gonna have some type of safety net. Men gonna feel sorry for you. They're gonna be willing to work with you and all kind of shit. Not as a man, you don't get those entitlements. Because I'm a man myself, and any guy in here can basically tell you, we ain't making this shit up. Yeah, I think it's like 44%. That's what I was going to say too. It's about 44% of women that have transgender over to men, and when they can't cope with being a man, they commit suicide. They are self-deleting themselves. 44%. It's in the 40s, mid 40s, and that's high. That's high. That's why we got to bring the mental asylum back for a few reasons, Omega, because I talked about this earlier on my live. You also have the sociopaths, right? And for those that don't know, this is also a mental illness. A sociopath, to make a long story short, is a person that can't differentiate right from wrong. They have no remorse. They do not care. So this is why you'll see this type of profile everywhere. It's not just politicians, it's everywhere. I got some opinions who I think what type of people that are sociopaths that get off hurting other people, that have shows no remorse, and it's quite a bit of them out here. And these are the profiles that the deep state seem to recruit into their group, into their camp, because that's the perfect profile. Like I said before earlier, sociopaths should never be in power ever. And we have been under sociopath rule. Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong now. We have been under the rule of sociopaths. They don't care about you or me or anybody else. They don't give a damn about us, ladies and gentlemen. It's fitting, right? They can be smooth as silk, bringing on some bullshit policy. They just lied to American people. Most of the politicians we know just lie because they could tell you straight what it is, what they say they're going to do, and when they get into office, they do the opposite. We got the first president in our known history that actually made promise. He made good on his promises, and that's Donald J. Trump. He made good on all his promises and many more. We can't say the same with these other people. A sociopath. You can Google that, pull that up. It's a mental illness, first and foremost. And these people need to be admitted in some type of a sane asylum. They should not be out on the streets. We know why they got rid of a lot of the mental health hospitals anyway. They wanted them out here on the street to do their bidding. That's all it is. These sociopaths. They can't differentiate between good and bad. They don't care. No remorse whatsoever. A lot of them can kill somebody in cold blood and not even feeling nothing. It's like a thing of numbness. Have you noticed? You know, when they just go after people, go after children, and do these heinous things, that's a mind of a sociopath, man. Omega says, not really. I am still annoyed that he ran on universal um, reciprocity in 2016, and that never happened. I would give the benefit of the doubt on he may have been hindered, but uh, Trump 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 is 80%. Okay, Trump is 80% better than most. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And nobody trying to say Trump is perfect. He has his way of doing things, but I would pick him. I'm rah-rah with Trump all the way. I would bet the farm on Trump before anybody else. That's for sure. I'll go with the 80%. I would go with the 80%, to be honest. Yeah, I really would. I would go with the 80%. 80% Trump, because there's nobody else out there that can hold a candle to him. You think Gavin Newsom can do it? You think AOC? You think Jasmine Hood Rat Crockett? You think Bernie Sanders? We got to stop the oligarchy. The oligarchy. We got to stop the oligarchy. We got to stop it. Who can do it? Do you think Leonard Jeffries? They don't even respect that. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, Leonard Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, you think they respect him? Yeah, Omega says Gabby Nuisance talks a lot and fuck things up. Yeah, he even tried to mimic Trump and fuck that up. Nobody can do Trump better than Trump. Nobody can do Trump better than Trump, ladies and gentlemen. He thought that he can out Trump. Yeah, he thought. Yep, Gavin, or as you say, gabbing nuisance. That's a real good name for Gabby Nuisance. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be the front runner for the Democratic Party. I heard he was up like 16 points. It looked like he's going to be more of a candidate running for the 28th seat for presidency because they don't have anybody else. They don't have anybody else, though, that's for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a hurting thing, though, man. With all the shit that he did in his own district in the LA, California, how he effed up California. This guy, I want to say how great California is. It's a beautiful state. Don't get me wrong. I visited out there. I was out there way before he was, I do believe, the mayor, and it was beautiful out there, man. You know, it had its problems, but it was nothing like how it was today. You can go to San Francisco, LA, and go to a lot of the beaches and stuff. Ventura, um, I mean Santa Monica. Santa Monica was always beautiful. San Diego too. Those vistas out there, San Diego. Those places are nice, but you can't. I mean, but the taxes out there are so high, man. As you know. You got to have 3 or 4 roommates just to live out there in California, anywhere in California, man. You know, but yeah, man. Even in the slum ghettos, though, San Bernardino and these other areas, man, costs money to live there too. You know, if you can get out in Orange County and these other areas, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, good living, but you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for it. But I wouldn't want to be out there though, man. I wouldn't want to live out there in California, knowing that Gabby Nuisance is the governor out there. No way in the world. Mm-mm. Yeah. Let me see here. We got Brother Dwight. Is that right? That's Brother Dwight, boy. That's his favorite. Brother Dwight, that's his favorite lines. Wow. Keeping it right with Brother Dwight. Here we go. Dwight Owens, ladies and gentlemen, has entered into the building. Brother Dwight. What's going on with you, Brother Dwight? Yeah, man. Yeah, Omega, this is Brother Dwight that I know personally well, and how we talk about the things of how Trump is doing a wonderful job and how these other people are not doing a wonderful job. Yeah, Brother Dwight. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I know you heard about Trump's. He has that thing with the green card thing. Yep, the green card. Dwight says you is what's going on, Brother Tone. I appreciate it, Brother Dwight. Yeah, I do believe that Trump has changed the green card thing. Um, like if you with your passport, let's say you go to Dominican Republic, you find a cutie, you bring her back here, and if she starts once you get her green card and she start misbehaving, talk about that woman's live stuff, when they can set you up for a divorce, you have the power, Dwight, to send her back home. If she breaks the commitment, you have the right to ship her back. She, her green card will be non void, and you can ship her back to her country. Now that's a little bit that I heard about that Trump have also been looking out. So for passport bros, because my thing was is never to bring her back here anyway. Dwight says, "Yeah, I know about that, and I'm happy that it's so. I know that's right, Brother Dwight. Yeah, Brother Dwight. Yeah, because yeah, if she acts out of line, don't hold up her end of of the commitment in the relationship, talking about I need to find myself and I want to get a divorce and all that. The green card, we already know it's non-void. All I gotta do is make a phone call to who I need to make a phone call to, and have arrangement to have her picked up and send her back to her country. Say, I'm gonna send you back. Be wanna he no home. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send you back. Be wanna he no home. I like that with Michael Frank's song. I want you to smile and be polite. I want you to speak the English right. Be wanna he no home. Be wanna he no home. Exactly right. Oh man, that's a beautiful thing. That's gonna be a powerful thing, though, brother Dwight or Omega. If y'all decide to want to bring your, you go over there with your passport, you bring her back here. You ain't got to be worried about or in so much fear about her, not wanting to continue being a wife with you no more. You know, she will. You have the power to ship her on out of here, send her back. Yeah, with that. Yeah, that's something that Trump implemented. So yeah, I heard about that. I said, yep, that's a beautiful thing. Yep, it's a beautiful thing, gentlemen. Yep, beautiful thing. Yeah, Dwight, we're just over here talking about all the wonderful things um, that um, that Trump has been doing, man. He's been really doing the thing, man. All these executive orders and stuff like that, turning the country back to prominence, bringing it back as a Christian nation, bringing it back to observe all its principles in the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Getting rid of the tyranny and tyrant government forms of government, draining the swamp, draining the swamp. He's draining it, and the more that seawater starts to drop, we are able to see their skeletons, what they've been hiding, what they've been saying, what they've been doing. It's a beautiful thing, though. That's why I felt the need of putting that cartoon picture. Somebody drew that, but you got Lady Liberty bending down, looking down at Trump and saying what she's saying in so many words, that she thanked Trump for all the great work that he's been doing, getting this country together. And he said, I'm still not finished yet, madam, you know, which he's still not finished yet. There's much more work to be done. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, though. So, yeah, that's coming from Lady Liberty. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing about that, though, man. We are on the path. We are going back on the gold standard and everything, man. Yeah, everything right now is lining up. As soon as we can get these deep state people that's locked up, these sociopaths locked up, we got to get them out. These are nothing but sociopaths, man. Not only that they have lied to the American people, but they have ripped off and stole our wealth in this country. And to me, I don't know about y'all, but that is totally unforgivable because that is treason. They have sold the American people out that they were sworn to protect and hold up the Constitution of the United States of America. They have sold us out, as James Brown would say, our brother, for chicken change. It's the big payback. I'm mad, Dwight, Omega. Big payback. They're going to get it. The big payback. Yeah, remember that song? Yeah, I'm mad. uh, the big payback. Yeah, wheeling, squealing. How you say it? I'm a man, son of a man. Yeah, the big payback, Dwight. Yeah, there you go. The big payback. And that's exactly what it is, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sold me out for some chicken change. That ain't right. Mm-hmm. The big payback. Yeah. Now, as Trump said, quote, when it was fun when I was being hunted, now that I got the gun, now I am the hunter. So Trump has been hunting them now. Yep, Dwight says, I don't do no damn squealing. Yep, exactly. Yep, yeah, I love that song though. Dwight, you gonna make me play it tonight later on? Yep, yeah, that was the jam right there. The big payback. Dun dun dun. Yeah, yep. I'm mad. Gonna do no squealing, no dealing. How you say? Sold me out for some chicken change. I know that's right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. They sold us out for some chicken change. Sold us out. Yeah, the big payback. Yeah, the big payback. Yeah, I'm mad. The big payback. Yeah, payback. Yeah, you gonna get it. Yeah, they gonna get it. Boy, we over here, and things like that. Adam Shifty Schiff and all the rest of them. You gonna get it, Obama. Yeah, Hillary. Yeah, the big payback. Man, sold us out for some chicken change. Yeah, that's exactly what ended up happening, though. Effed over this, tried to F over this country, ripped us off, forced us out to pay taxes in America and things like that. You know, America used to be the thing when you didn't have to pay no taxes. We've been up under debt slavery in this country ever since. And I'm mad. Yeah. Gotta get some get back. Yeah. Sold me out for some chicken change. Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about, boy. If I was able to play that song, though, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, without no copyright strikes, I would do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, that's James Brown. Nobody did it. The Godfather of Soul. Nobody did it better than James. James Brown, man. And I got him on my playlist, though, too. I think I'm going to play that, man, the big payback. Yeah. Sold me out. Yeah, for some chicken change. Yeah, they sold us out, my brothers. Yep, these politicians have sold us out, man. Yep, they really did. To enrich themselves. They are the ones that's living in these beautiful ass gated communities, though. Look at what they've been doing. The White says, you know that Trump is sending warships to Venezuela. Yep, I sure do. Yep, I sure do. Venezuela. He also, let me see here, and then let me see here, let's see, contempt. Got these glasses on here. Wait a moment. Contemplating war on drug cartel. Contemplating. Okay, there we go. I can read it now. Contemplating war. Okay, contemplating wage war on drug cartels. Yeah, that's what he's been doing as well too. I'm familiar with all of that. That's a beautiful thing. Didn't Trump put out a bounty for $50 million? Is that true? That they put out on that guy over there in Venezuela because they got Trump's boy locked up, right? So yeah, because he already told him though he's gonna hit them with some sanctions too. Yeah, because they did the same thing to Muammar Gaddafi, if I believe. They put a big, yeah, for Muammar, yeah, they put a bounty on his head too. $50 million, though. You don't think that they're gonna come out there and and collect on that to get that $50 million? Man, they'll take his ass out for that kind of money. Shit, it ain't gotta be 50 million though, man. Shit, to be honest. Yep, yeah, Hillary did that. You're right. Yeah, she wanted to put that bounty out. Yep, on Muammar Gaddafi. That's correct. Hillary Clinton. Yep, Muammar. Yeah, Muammar Gaddafi. I mean, yep, they sure did. She put that hit out on him. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, you on it though, Dwight. Yeah, I heard about that. We got the ships lining up in Venezuela. He's what's my man's name? What's his name, Moderno or whatever. Yeah, he's all shaking like a tree, like a leaf and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Yeah, it look like it's gonna go down though, you know? Yeah, it look like it's gonna go down. Yep. Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. Got more skeletons than a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Boy, I tell you, boy, it's gonna be a big payback, y'all. That's a beautiful thing. But yeah, man. Yeah, we on the right track though, you know. Like I said, um, sometimes I get trolls in the room sometimes. Now they scared of y'all because they see that y'all are moderators, you know. When I have to get them in here by myself though, because they do make the room a little bit more lively, you know. I kind of keep them around a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Uh, Dan, spell check changed the first one to killers. First one to killers. Yeah, Dan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's the first one. First one to killers. Yeah. But yeah, though, Dwight, man. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, though, man. Where we're gonna be heading to, man. Because you didn't hear me earlier, but I went in more detail on the Federal Reserve Bank. On the Federal Reserve Bank, that is the main target right now that has been oppressing us as American citizens. Where they have wrote in the Constitution the 16th Amendment, which is going to be removed once Trump get the central bank out. We got to get the Federal Reserve out. We do. As long as we can do that, then it's all good. And that's what Trump is working on. Because I love his Trump's economy versus the deep state's economy, right? Which is the fiat currency, right? So we already know when the time is right, when those coffers are filled up, collecting all that money from these other nations in the world that also have been ripping us off. They've been stealing. We've been funding a lot of countries in the world, right? The world, like Canada. Canada, as Trump said, it's a welfare country. We don't. It's a welfare state. It's not a country. It's really a welfare state of ours because we've been carrying Canada for so damn long. They've been ripping us off. It's been a little tiny brother or sister to us, man. And I'm starting with Canada first, and we'll work our way with the other countries around there. Europe, the EU, the same way. They've been ripping us off for a long time, man. And that's why I say the big payback. So now that we are collecting tariffs from EU, and they all going to have to pay, and they have been paying. Trump putting that money into the coffers because when the time is right, it's going to rival the Federal Reserve Bank. With Trump's economy and with the currency, where we have cryptocurrency, we have precious metals going on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have gold and silver and other type platinum to back up the economy because we're gonna be eventually going away from the fiat currency, and that's the thing about it. Once Trump demolished the Federal Reserve Bank and the IRS, we're gonna know what wealth is truly like, though, brother Dwight. That's why I was telling some of you guys now, man. You want to invest in, get yourself some Bitcoin, start investing in crypto, man, as you can, and then also what you're gonna need to do is that you're gonna also need to invest in on precious metals because the central bank, which is the Federal Reserve, they have been suppressing gold and silver especially. Gold and silver is not the true price of what it is. It's a way higher, way higher. And the reason they've been suppressing it, I'm talking about the Federal Reserve Central Bank, because it rivals their currency, their fiat phony currency, right? That's what's going on. Dwight says, need to find a way to get a personal audience with Trump to find out if he's still going to implement part of the Platinum Plan. Yeah, that's a good question, though, man. The Platinum Plan that would help Black Americans. Yeah, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about because you're the one that brought that to my attention. But yeah, that would be the question, though. We would definitely need to find that out, though. About the Platinum Plan. That's a very good question, though. Yeah, Omega, you know about the Platinum Plan as well. I think you do, but I do believe that it came off of the backs of off of Ice Cube contract to America and things. So yeah, but it made a lot of sense though. How a lot of money will be allocated towards the Black community to build a community up. Remember, he said that Dwight, a promise made is a promise kept. Promise made is a promise kept. So I don't see Trump reneging on that and stuff like that because we already know the Black community, we have been suppressed under the Democratic rule for so long. And the old lion ass neocon Republicans, rhino Republicans, they never did anything for the Black community either. Omega says, I am aware of it, and I'm aware of how the demo rats are trying to hinder it. Absolutely. Dwight says, I believe that too, because it's what's that? It resonated with Ice Cube's yeah, vision. Exactly. I believe that though too, because he was the first one that, talked with Trump about it. We already remember Biden did not want to. He didn't want to deal with it until after what he said after the election was over, and even then he never looked at it. So that's the thing about it. But yeah, man, one's gonna see about that. Oh yeah, Dwight Omega is a brother too. Y'all brothers, yeah, brothers, brother to brother. Brother to brother. Yeah, my brother. Mm-hmm. Or how the Nigerians say, yeah, my brother, my brother. How are you, my brother? Yeah, we are brothers, brother. Uh, I sell you a bottle of water for $8, my brother. My brother, I sell you a bottle of water for $8 because you're my brother. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, man. My brother. I am from Nigeria and I want to talk to you. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I am evil. I want to talk to you, my brother. Oh man, that's funny. Oh man, that's funny. But it ain't funny being sold out for no chicken change. I'm gonna tell you, man. The big payback is going on right now. Yeah, Dwight says Brian had no intentions of uh, bringing to fruition any empowerment to the Black people via Ice Cube vision. Yeah, Biden. Yeah, yeah, Biden. Yeah, yeah. He had no intentions of it at all, though, because we already know Joe Biden and his administration. We really is Obama, because Biden's mind was gone anyway. Obama was running the whole thing. Obama never had no intentions, right, of bringing about the Ice Cube thing or Trump's platinum plan. He was going to block it. He was going to stand against it because the Democrats need the downtrodden Black folk in the Democrat Party, right? They need the moderates as well. These are the people. They need the LGBTQ community. They also need the Jewish community. They need these particular groups And they need the illegals now, right? Because that's their biggest voter block right now. They go more hard for them than they don't necessarily need the blacks no more. They know the blacks are waking up, so they don't really need the blacks no more. Yeah, Dwight says, and Nasty Pelosi is running it with Barack and Chuck Schumer. Yeah, they all and they're all being investigated though too. That's what's so great about it. You got Nancy Pelosi. I'll call her nasty because she's so nasty. This is the one that beat the stock market. She was better than Warren Buffett. Beat the SRP. She should be the whiz kid on Wall Street. Nasty Pelosi. Yep. I learned that from Omega Dwight. We call her Nasty Pelosi because she's so nasty. And then we also got a name for Maxine Wicked West Waters. I learned that from you already know from Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. I concur, Omega. I concur. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. Nasty Pelosi. She's so nasty. Nasty, with her nasty ways. So that's a nasty, wicked, evil woman, man. Nasty Pelosi. Yeah, this is the one right here. She's been around since 2000 and Nasty Pelosi been around since 2000 and was it 2001, 2002? And Maxine Wicked Waters been around since 1990. That's why we call her Maxine Wicked West Waters. She been lying, not serving the people, but she been lying to the people since 1990. You know, Omega says, and yep, Ratchet Hitler, German socialist. Yeah, that would be Gretchen Whitmer. We just call her Ratchet Hitler. Yep, Wretched Hitler. That's a fitting name for her though too, with that big butt. You know what I'm saying? She still get it now. Yeah, she got that big booty, that big butt. That's about the only thing she got going for herself, though, too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, a lot of sociopaths, man. The way that they be moving and stuff like that. No remorse for the American people. All lies. All lies. Nothing good is going to come from it. Let me tell you that much. You know, we've been as Brother Malcolm said, we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. We've been led astray, right? That's what ended up happening. We've been hit over the head, talking about landing on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock hit us upside the head, knocked us unconscious and stuff like that. We didn't know the front from the back. You know, we're gonna hold up in the black community. We hold down the Democratic Party. These days are changing though. They done flipped Chicago. Chicago went totally red. You know what I'm saying? Look like DC is gonna be heading that way. When Trump sent in those troops and stuff like that, stuff started changing up. Stuff started being cleaned up, you know? Yeah, look, I got myself a ride too, y'all. I'm gonna be heading out here. I'm gonna have to cut this live short before I get there. They'll be wondering, damn, he recorded me? They get weirded out on this stuff. I don't blame them. You know, people don't want to be on people's lives and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, but other than that, though, it's good to have some good brothers on here. I got others too that come on here. All is welcome. All is welcome. Even when I get some trolls, man. I love trolling them though. It was fun. I troll them though. I really do, boy. I love trolling the trolls. You know, but like it is, we just know that they don't know what we know, and this is hey Dwight. It would be nice to get Bear on here, Baron, but Baron is so much of a private person. Baron ain't gonna get on here. Yep. Yeah, Baron ain't gonna get on here like that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Baron definitely not. Baron ain't gonna get on here like that. Give a shout out to Baron. Baron, yeah, but no, Baron ain't gonna get on there. And that's cool. I respect that. Yep, I respect that. Yeah, yeah, man. Yep. So other than that, man, yeah, it's been cool though. Just doing this live though at this time of night. My best times are in the morning though. It seems because that other video I did on the DC thing, man, shit, that hit over 3,000 views, man. Boy, and I had a lot of haters on there too, boy. I had a lot of trolls on that one a couple of days ago, y'all. Shoot, none of y'all was around because you probably been at work and stuff, boy. I was holding it down. Your brother was holding it down. I can't really read the comments as quick because a lot of them they get in there. So I had to ignore some of the comments. There was a sister that signed up. She subscribed to my channel. See, it's coming around. Get more black women now. Shout out to the sisters that's coming around, though. Getting off that Democratic train, Demo KKK rat train. That's a better name, and learned that from Omega too. The Demo KKK rats. I give credit to credit is due. You know, just like I give credit with Dwight when he says something. I had to take a few of his things though, brother Dwight. Yeah. It's so hard trying to find a good woman, especially a sister today. What Dwight said, 14 haystacks, and put a fine needle in there and say, go search for it. That's the complexity. That's the complexity and how difficult it is trying to find that needle in a haystack. Boy, when Dwight said that to me, 99 point, oh man, I said, oh my goodness. Boy, that's close to 100% if you round it up. That's a damn. Dwight, no, he wasn't lying. Dwight wasn't holding and taking no prisoners. I'm gonna tell y'all that much. Dwight wasn't taking no prisoners, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he was telling the truth, preaching the truth. Yep, y'all. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go head on and cut it on off. But I appreciate y'all for coming on, man, and rocking with your boy. Tony Tone in the house. Yep, I thank y'all for liking as well and subscribing. I'm gonna try to do more of these videos or these lives again as well. I do my shorts and stuff as well, but I just want y'all to know that I'm gonna be back doing one probably tomorrow too. We got to get this information out there. I appreciate y'all very much, and I'll see y'all on the next live. Peace and chicken grease. Your boy is out. Sugar, sugar, salt is salt. If you didn't get off today, it ain't my fault. Hey, y'all know that one. Hey, you know that one. You know who said that one. If you a Detroiter, you know who said that. R.J. Watkins of The Scene, the new dance show. Shoot, that's funny. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one right there. I appreciate y'all. Peace and love. Peace and love. You already know, Dr. Umar, peace and love. I need those donations. I need those donations. I need those donations. You gotta say it 3 times. You know, you want to go out with the Prince of Pan Africanism. I'm looking for some ladies, 5'5", thick in the thighs. Yeah, Piananis. How you say it? Politics over Piananis. Right? That's what he said, Yep. Yeah, man. Get on that Umar Johnson frequency, It ain't gonna be no bunnies. Mm-mm. All right, y'all. All right, peace, and I'm out.